if we were to look at, you know, who's in, it's basically no one. When you look at the, I guess the pyramid of whatever, the only institutions that are in crypto right now are here. It's BlackRock. BlackRock plus cronies. So when people say, oh, the institutions are already in crypto, no, they're not. They're not. The only institutions that are in crypto right now are BlackRock and cronies on the bad side, and then we have MicroStrategy over here, and a few, you know, big public Bitcoin miners, which are actually owned by BlackRock and cronies. So who do we have left to come into? We have pension funds. We have sovereign wealth funds. We have family offices that haven't even touched it. We have hedge funds galore. We have fund of funds galore. Like, so when people talk about institutions, this is what people mean. And then below that, we've got massive corporates. I know I've only given it a tiny segment here, but it's actually a vast segment. So I guess the gonna be really cheesy now. Another way to look at this is, oopsie, squeeze cronies down. Sorry, I should have done this on PowerPoint. Microsoft Paint is very limited in its capabilities. It's going to be something like this. But the massive corporates are like the huge, you know, if you had to draw a cheesy rocket ship, this is what's coming, right? And actually, I said MicroStrategy's up here. MicroStrategy is literally a teeny weeny part of this massive corporate part of the puzzle. So it's not trickle down economics, but it's trickle down social peer pressure. It is, you know, I've said this before. What's happening is that Bitcoin was poo in all of the, you know, let's call it the pros. Bitcoin equals poo. And then it's like, and now we've got all these ETFs. And by the way, these ETFs are the best selling ETFs in history. There hasn't been any ETF that has sold so hard, so much, so consistently than the Bitcoin ETF. It's made the gold ETFs look like a random Sunday, honestly. And so what's happening now is that we have legitimacy. So how many swanky New York lunches are happening around New York, in fact all over the world, where you have fund manager chatting with client going, hey, how's it going, how's your kids, how's Yale, how's your kids doing at Harvard, you know, all that sort of bollocks. And yeah, Bitcoin, I know we said not to do that, and that, you know, is all a scam and stuff like that, but you know, the landscape has somewhat changed, and although, you know, a lot of us still think it's scammy internet monopoly money, obviously we've got the ETFs and there's a bit of a rush to get in. And I know your, you know, $200 million estate is all, you know, 60-40 stocks and bonds, but I think it's probably prudent, looking at the way things are going, to have some sort of allocation. Do you mind if we just put, you know, 1 to 5% of your pot in? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, if that's what you recommend. How many of those conversations do you think are happening all over the world right now? And by the way, we haven't even got into like the launching station, which is the bullshit world of IFAs. Sorry, I will always have a grudge against independent financial advisors. Always. So the way that funds and funds of funds work is that you have, I need a new picture here actually, so this is a new picture over here on the left. So what you have are funds galore, right? There are thousands of, if you just look at the UK, there are thousands of different funds. And then you'll have some big boy funds. And so what happens, these are the fund of funds, and these are the laziest of fund managers, because they don't do any alpha or even beta. What they will do is they'll go to their Tesco's for funds and go, right, I want a bit of S&P tracker, I want a bit of FTSE tracker, I want a bit of emerging markets tracker, whatever. So these are funds of funds. So these are a massive fund that basically have allocation into lots of other funds. And even these little mini funds will be, just smaller versions of themselves. But who feeds these funds? This is what most people don't understand. These funds, obviously, they all make money from an expense ratio on AUM. So they make basically an annual fee based on how much money is in each of their pots. But they have to have constant infill or inflows. And they get that from the shitty base of IFAs that basically have clients, individual clients like you and I. We are the plebs. And so when an IFA, someone sits down and does some financial planning, etc. The IFA, obviously, they're only allowed to talk about whatever the FCA will let them talk about. But they will go, oh yeah, based on your risk appetite and what you want to do, and they'll plan. They do some good things, like they'll plan out their life, etc. But the way that they go about it is completely wrong. And they'll be like, oh yeah, And so what happens is that you have tens of thousands of IFAs in every country having individual chats with high net worths and whatnot, and all they're doing is recommending this fund, this fund, this fund. So like, oh yeah, I think you should have a structured portfolio. You should, in your pension, should go into this, this, and this. So I spoke when I was looking at launching my own hedge fund. I don't know, back in 2013. I had a chat with a fund of fund managers, and he was I forgot the name of the entity. But this fund of fund managers had an issue, and we went to dinner. And again, I know I've had many dinners like this, but we had a little chat. And basically, the issue that I didn't realize at the time is that these fund of fund managers have a little bit of pressure, because if these funds are like delivering, or saying to their clients that we're going to deliver 3 to 7% per year, or let's just say 1% over S&P 500 or the FTSE, etc. These fund of funds have to sort of give they need their edge as well, but they're not really getting their edge by having a whole bunch of funds, because it's all just drinking from the same bucket of goods, really. And so a lot of fund of funds have had to diversify over recent times, like over the last 10 years, and so they're like going, shit, we owe all of our customers X% per year, but we can't get that from just investing in the FTSE or the S&P or whatever. So they branch out into different things. So the fund of fund manager I had set up the We brand. So they owned WeBuyAnyCar.com, WeBuyAnyHouse.com, We Buy, all sorts of stuff, because they're like, oh shit, we're going to have to diversify and put 0.1% of the fund to set up and just go out and buy cars, go out and buy houses, go out and buy businesses, etc. So all I'm trying to say is that if you take this little segment over here, which I've been talking about, all of this bullshit is not even in the Bitcoin, in the crypto ecospace yet. We're not there yet. So this is why I'm incredibly bullish, because none of this bollocks is happening down here in the base level. Not yet, it's not, especially not in the UK, because we don't even have crypto derivatives that we can invest in. None of the massive corporates are doing this, other than MicroStrategy, and he is the shining light over here, because he's absolutely knocking it out of the park. And other CEOs are going, wait a minute, Michael Saylor has gone from a laughingstock to probably going to be the richest CEO in the S&P 500 soon. And then they're like, oh, maybe we should put some of our balance sheet in crypto as well. So that's going to have a domino effect. And then, yeah, eventually we haven't even seen this main shaft, ignite yet. So we're so early.